So I know I'm the warm-up back, so I'm gonna go pretty quickly because everybody wants to say goodbye to Eric or say something about Eric. But I wanted to fill you in on a few things. You know we've been having a cat problem, a feral cat problem. And we hope to begin resolving that through a new program we're going to be starting I think the end of December, beginning of January. It's going to be a trap, neuter, vaccinate, return program where we're going to capture the cats, send them away, and then they're going to have a little operation. Then they're going to come back, and then they're going to be fed by people who are trained to manage these colonies. And there's a nonprofit group that's organized to work with the trainers, with the caretakers, and to raise the money to pay for the operation and everything. So we think this is a better program than what we've been doing for a long time, which hasn't worked. So hopefully we'll see some results there. If people are still feeding cats and not registered in the TNR program, then they will continue to get tickets. So you're not allowed to feed stray cats, but if you are enrolled in this program, you will be allowed to do that. So, wanted to talk about some of the things we're doing that you're going to be seeing happening in 2015. We are really moving forward with the former Women's Club called the Woodland. And if you've been there for any of the concerts or activities that have happened recently, you've seen that we've made improvements there. We're now finishing up the paving of the parking lot. We've merged the two parking lots down there, the Highland lot and the Women's Club lot, to be able to have better flow there, better traffic, so you don't have to go back out in the street. You can go from one lot to the other now, so we think that's going to be a plus. The building on the inside is looking great. The building on the outside needs some work, and that's going to be a little bit longer for us to get to because we wanted to make sure the inside's working. As I said, we've had concerts there, we've had fundraisers there, weddings have gone on there, so it is available for folks to rent, and we really do want to continue to make it as a place for music and art, fun, and community activities. And at the same time, we're keeping up the Bergdorf Center. We're going to be adding air conditioning to the building for the community room. Right now, we have no air conditioning in that building at all, but we've just upgraded the electric, or we'll be upgrading the electric, which is the prerequisite for bringing in some air conditioning to the community room. So that's going to be a major plus because it's going to give us another place for meetings and even for some performances, smaller scale performances in the summertime. So that'll be something that's going on. Because we really want to emphasize the arts in 2015. We're just getting a lot more interest, and we want to respect that, and particularly downtown where we want to integrate the arts and our economic development and business development activity. On the business development activity, we are continuing to focus on Springfield Avenue. I know you're seeing more vacancies than before. We're having some tough times. The bank moved Santander. I spoke to the real estate person the other day. Unfortunately, at this point, there are no banks that are looking to move in there. It's a bit antiquated. We are talking to one bank about the possibility, and we're going to continue to do that. The other bank, the Bank of America building, is just not going to have a bank anymore. That building is just too small. There's not enough parking. Just doesn't work. So we're still trying to figure out what can go there. We've had a couple other shops close. I know some of you have seen Tofts is closed. There's a new owner that's coming on in January. He has a pharmacy in East Orange, and he will continue to keep that pharmacy, and this will be his second pharmacy. And quite honestly, we look for people who are either expanding an existing business or branching out, or maybe another family member is going to take on, because they have the track record of running a business. It gets to be a little discouraging sometimes when we see people come in and after 6 months They just can't make it because they've never run a business before. So we want to encourage that because that's part of the American dream of starting, your own business and being successful. But from the town side and the management side of the avenue, we want to see some longer-term operations. So having somebody who has a business already and wants to expand is something that we're going to continue to work on. We have major project at the PSE&G site across from the pool. We have a big-time developer coming in, Avalon. It's a national firm. They're on the East Coast and West Coast. They're going to be building apartments there. We're negotiating with another regional company to do a big project where the old Maplewood Plumbing Supply used to be, and the building next door. So we hope to know by Thanksgiving whether that's a go or not. There's a new owner for the Maplewood Diner site. The transaction should close next week, and we're going to be working with that. He's going to go in and clean it up. We're going to be working with him to get a food business back in there, whether it's going to be another diner or some other kind of food that still remains to be seen. We have approvals to do some new apartments across from Dunkin' Donuts on Springfield Avenue, where the old, many of you know as the Brass Town, or the Brass Liquors, and Stuyertown Liquor, Jerome's, and then Springfield Liquors now. And that's going to be apartments and some retail on the bottom. So that's, we've got some interest there again, and we're moving forward there. So those are some things happening that are going to be picking up more in 2015. And of course, the post office. The post office will be moving February 15th from their current building down the street to 195 Maplewood Avenue. And that building will be coming down. That's where the old Pilates studio used to be. It's almost on the corner of Lenox. So it's between Baker and Lenox. So when you go down, instead of making the right to go to the post office, you'll go down and make the left once you go underneath the tracks on Baker Street. And so that'll move down there. It'll be a brand new post office. It'll be retail. And it'll have, I think, up to 500 postal boxes, so you'll be able to rent and get your boxes there. We're still working on attitude adjustments of the postal workers so that they're a little more friendly, but that's something that's going to come a little later. So that's it. There's a lot of stuff happening. One of the things we're going to be doing this year in January and February as we look at the budgets and the whole spending of the town is we're going to, as we do it on TV right now on our Saturday hearings, we're going to start to take questions from the TV audience. You can sit home, and if we don't put you to sleep watching the budget hearings, you can actually be able to email us a question. So we're going to try this out, try to get the community more engaged in some of those budget activities. Even if you see, maybe we'll know how many people are watching us by that. But we did it once before, and we ended up with like 15 questions from the internet on another matter that we had that we were televising. So those are the projects. As you know, Eric is leaving on December 1st, and we have hired a new DPW director. He lives in this community. He lives on Jacoby Street. He now works in Keyport, and he will be starting on December 8th, and we'll be working with him. And he understands the community, and he understands our desire to have good customer relations. It's very important to us. Eric kind of set the bar for that. I'm not sure if it was a high bar or a low bar, but he set the bar for that. And so that's something that we're going to continue to follow up with the new director. We'll have him come to one of the meetings of the association to get to know you all, and so that you can give him some input on expectations and things like that. If anybody has any questions? Florence? No questions? Oh, you do have a question, of course.
When are we going to get the mail that belongs to us not going to our neighbors.
Right. Well, yeah, that's, you know, let me just say one thing how the mail works, because it doesn't work like it used to work. You know, in the old days, you used to put the mail in the post box here, or even down in the slot, and they would take that mail to the Maplewood post office, and they would sort it out. It doesn't work that way anymore. If you put a piece of mail in the slot, either on Springfield Avenue or in on Maplewood Avenue, that gets bundled up and gets taken to Kearney. Even if it says Maplewood, it gets taken to Kearney. It goes through a machine, and it gets wrapped in a piece of plastic based on the carrier, and then it comes back to us. And the carrier gets this piece of plastic with everything in there. So if the machine reads it wrong, we often get something from 154 Hilton. You know, if the machine reads it, or if you have a sub sometimes, and they even sort it wrong, that's what you have. That's what the problem is. So everything is on a machine basis now, and that's something that is going to happen.
So the fellow, I don't know.